Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Today we are going to set up my catch-all planner for the third quarter. So that is for the months of July, August, and September. I have the planner here, the inserts I'm going to use for this planner, and I am going to change out some discs. We're going to talk about that. And then I also have my overflow planner where I keep all of my monthly inserts for all of the planners that I Frankenplan. So we are going to go ahead and really get right to it because this planner is probably going to be one of my more complicated setups. And I'll talk to you about why that is when I get started. First, let me fix this focus. Okay. So this is a new planner in my system. This is the parenting layout. I bought it out of the Happy Planner spring release. I've really enjoyed it. It is going to stay as my catch-all. I like everything about this planner. I'm not changing really the core of the planner, not really changing that. I have set this planner up to include specialty sections because it's a catch-all, so you're going to have different sections in a catch-all. And then I have several of those, and then I have the monthly sections, right? So all of that needs to be updated for quarter three. I am also upgrading my discs because this catch-all gets kind of thick, and I wanted to have a little bit of a bigger disc, but I don't want a full 2-inch expander like you get from Happy Planner. So I bought these really pretty metal discs from Amazon, and they are really nice. I love them. However, I didn't really buy the right size. Okay, I intended to buy, I bought the right size, but they came a little bit smaller than I thought they were. I like this brand on Amazon because they're very pretty, first of all, but you can get different sizes. So I bought the 1.3 inch, which is what this is. The Happy Planner disc, I believe, is a 1.25. And I don't know, in my mind, I thought the 1.3 would be a little bit bigger. And it's basically the same size as the 1.25. I know math should have told me that it was going to be about the same size, but hey. I just didn't want to go up and buy the 1.6 or the 2-inch. That's just too big in my opinion. So I thought about, should I use them or should I just stay with the discs that I currently have? And I decided to go ahead and use them anyway because I did buy them. And I bought a rose gold. I think they'll go nicely with this cover because I don't want to change the cover. I really like the cover. I love the softness of this cover, so I don't want to change it, but I did want to upgrade the disc. So what I'm doing first in my setup is coming in and putting in the new discs with the cover. So you saw me take off the cover from the old discs, and now I'm just putting the new discs into the cover, and that way when I start setting up the sections of my planner, I'll have a base for it already. Okay, looks good. And I think I like the disc upgrade. So, first thing we're going to do is, we're going to have to do this one in stages. Because like I said, this is probably the most complicated. And it's not really that complicated. It's just a lot of moving pieces. So, I think I'm going to try to do this in some type of reasonable order. First thing I'm going to do is take out my annual section that just came with the planner. You know, that's like the 2025, 2026 calendars that just came with the planner. And then, and so I moved that over to the new discs. So now let's try to go in order with this. I think the first thing I'm going to do is add in my new monthlies before doing the individual sections. So since I'm moving this over to new discs, I don't have to like just take everything out and replace. I can just move over. So I already had my July monthly in here. because this is a July start planner. All the, not all, but you know, a significant number of the planners that were released in the spring collection are July starts, and they go through June of 2026. So I am just taking July and moving it over, and then in my insert overflow where I keep all my extra inserts, I have August and September. So let me go ahead and put in August and September. I keep, because I do Frankenplan, so I keep all of my extra inserts from all the planners that I Frankenplan in one planner. This is really overfull. It's too much in here. I need to clean it out for now. But I'm just going to navigate in here. Navigate is being very generous to the planner. All right, these are the inserts that came out of the original parenting planner, and I'm just going to put August and September back in the insert, and then I can sit this aside. You see, I have October, November, December ready to go for the next quarter. I am actually going to sit this off to the side for my next planner setup, because you will see this a lot. All right, so now I'm going to put these two not extra, but the other 2 months for quarter 3 into the planner. And be kind of careful with these inserts. Okay, so now I have my monthly setup, right? I have the annuals that came with the planner when I bought it. All those are here. I have July. Now I put in a word of the year page. I move this from month to month so that I'm reminded of my word of the year when I go to that next month. So right now it's in July, but I have the July calendar. All this just came with the planner. Then I have my weeklies for July 2025. I've been using this planner in May and June, but I redate it a month for May and redate it a month for June, and that's how I started using it early. But the planner actually officially starts in July. So you see, I just have my monthly layouts for July, August, and September. That's all that's in here. If I was to leave this planner like this, it would be perfect, super thin. Don't have to worry about upgrading discs. But it's a catch-all. Of course, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go in and put in my other sections. And so this is my current planner. It doesn't have a cover right now because I took the cover off. And we are going to grab the sections that I'm going to use out of my old planner and move them to my new planner. And that's where we're going to end up with new inserts. So let's go ahead and take these off. My first section that I put in my catch-all is my projects and planning section. I'm going to keep my dashboard. I have new pages for just about all of these sections, so I'm not going to keep all of these sections. Some pages do stay the same, so I'm going to take those out, but others are new for the quarter. So for example, my pre-planning sheets, these were all used up during last quarter. I do not need to bring these over with me, but I do want to bring over my project sheets that I make, because I make those so that I can use them repeatedly. Not repeatedly, but I make them ahead of time so that I can use them when I need them. That's what I need to say. I don't need my May and my June calendars. I've already talked about that. The next section in my catch-all that I use is my wellness section. So I'm going to take out my wellness section, sit that to the side, take out my wellness dashboard. And then what I tend to put in my wellness section are wellness inserts that I make and print And if you're interested in any of the inserts that you see me put in that I make, I'll have them linked down below. And I also use a calendar. So this is all for the prior quarter. I don't have to take this out and move it over. I have new sheets for the new quarter. So Leisure and Explore, I'm going to take out the divider plus my dashboard because that stays. Now, in my Leisure and Explore section, this is where I make specialty sheets that last throughout the year, or they go from quarter to quarter. So some of these I'm actually going to take out and transfer to the new quarter, like my 2025 bucket list, wish list. In the new quarter, I do have a task, my to buy list. I have a task where I need to go through and get these kind of cleaned up, and I will do that. But for now, we're going to move these over for the new quarter, because I'll probably get these streamlined and cleaned up in the next quarter. So we need to move them over. I haven't done my 2025 refresh yet. I am going to update my spring goals to summer goals and my spring cleaning to summer cleaning. I am going to leave my travel plans in here because this is for an older trip. But I am going to take my travel inserts that stay in this section. I use these as needed, so there was no need for me to print more of those for quarter 3 because I still had some left over from quarter 2. And that is that section. So the next section I have is my goals section. I do have some new inserts to go in my goals section. We'll go over those when I set it up. But I did take the dashboard. The next section is my soul section, and I'm going to take the dashboard. And on my soul section, these inserts pretty much stay the same, except I do update the calendar every month. So I don't need the June calendar, but I do need my spirituality journal pages. These are not per month. I use these as I need them. So as long as I have some that are open, then I'll just move them from quarter to quarter. And then I do my memory keeping inserts, which these are these are done for quarter 2. I need to put my quarter 3 memory keeping inserts, and I've already printed those. The next section that I do in my catch-all is my planner joy section. I changed this section out monthly. So I'm just taking the divider and the dashboard out of the old planner. And then I do use this pocket so that I can keep important information as needed. So these are my old inserts. I will store these in another leftover planner that I have that I use for storage, but this is everything I did need in quarter 2. I no longer need that for quarter 3. What I have left, I have all of my section dashboards and all the section pages that need to transfer over to quarter 3. So let's start putting it together along with the new inserts that I'm using. Okay, so we are going to just go in order. This is the core of my planner. The first section I need to put in is my projects and planning section. This is where I do pre-planning, you guys, and it goes in the front of my planner. I put it right behind my annual calendars. And so in this section, I have printed out new inserts for quarter 3. In my projects and planning section, this is where I do my pre-planning. So for pre-planning, I use a 1-page calendar, undated. I date it as I need it. I go in and I kind of keep track of everything I'm going to plan, film, and decorate for that month. It's primarily about keeping track of what I'm decorating so that I can make sure I'm using my sticker books. I found that to be really important to me. And so I do it at a monthly level because I decorate different things per the month versus for the week. For example, I decorate my budget planner for the month, but I don't for the week. Stuff like that. So then I have a weekly decor list. This is just one page. It's enough to do the entire month. It's one row per week in that month. And so I have enough inserts for 3 months because that's how long a quarter is. So we'll go ahead and put these in here. And I have really enjoyed this pre-planning page. It has helped keep me organized. I know it seems like, wow, you have a ton of planners that you're planning in. I really don't, but I have so much going on that I do need to stay organized with it. So this is the pre-planning section. I basically have my pre-planning undated one-page calendars with my project sheets that I use as needed. That's all that goes into that section. Now, the next section in my catch-all are my monthlies. You saw me set those up. All the other sections that I customize go after the monthly. I'm going to go ahead and stick my envelope in here because that goes at the very back, so I'm going to stick that in there. The next section is my wellness section. So I have some new inserts, fresh inserts, I should say. They're not new. They're the same inserts I used in quarter two. But I have a fresh month. So I'm going to go ahead and put my divider and my dashboard. And then I have printed off for my wellness section a new month of wellness pages, which includes my July calendar. And then for wellness, I use my wellness inserts that I made. Again, all inserts will be linked down below. It has a month overview, a wellness wheel, a glow up tracker, fitness trackers. For the week, this is weekly. It's a one-page double-sided weekly. And then I have enough to last for a whole month. And then I have some information about self-care rituals. So that is my wellness section. I change this out every month because, as you can see, there are a lot of pages per month. So I don't put all 3 months in here at once. That would make this planner way too big. Way too thick, I should say. So that is my wellness section. Now, this is a new page for me. This is my word of the year. I decided to do this as a dashboard. Well, I have several dashboards with my word of the year, but I wanted to put this into my wellness section. This is a new layout that I'm using in my wellness section. Let me just pause and say I am filming this like in the middle of the day, but we have some thunderstorms going on. So the lighting is changing a lot during this video because it's very overcast and the clouds are moving in and out. I will try my best to update the lighting in editing, guys, and I apologize about that. But nothing I can do about the weather. So let's keep it rolling. Wellness section is done. The next section is my leisure and explore section. So I'm going to go ahead and come in and put my dashboard and my divider. So in my leisure and explore section, what I tend to do is keep, this is a pretty thick section. Let me take these notes off. I keep all of my specialty sheets. I just talked about that as I pull them out. Now, some of these need to be updated. For example, I still have my spring goals. I need to transfer that to a summer goal sheet. But I do keep my travel planning pages because I do like to take weekend trips, and so I like to have pages that I can quickly grab and just plan a quick weekend trip. And that goes in my leisure and explore section. Everything else is pretty much a specialty sheet, like my wish list, my bucket list. You know, if you want to do a movie watching or TV watching specialty sheet, anything that's a specialty sheet, I put in this section. I also have some notes. These notes are going to probably turn into additional special sheets. I just had a quick note, a quick thought about something I might want to do. And I'm thinking, oh, that would be a great specialty sheet. So for example, travel ideas, that would be a great specialty sheet. Location ideas, that would be a great specialty sheet. So I just put those in there until I decide whether or not I'm going to make that sheet. And then I do know that there are a couple of sheets that I need to, like I said, I need to update for the summer. So I made a blank 2025 summer bucket list and a blank goals list. So I am going to put this kind of in the middle next to my wardrobe refresh because I need to do that specialty sheet as well. So this will be a project for July probably. All right, this is looking good so far. The next section that I add into my catch-all is my goals section. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my divider and my dashboard. I will tell you up front, this is probably the section that gave me the most headache. I went back and forth over how I was going to do this section, and I finally landed on something. If you've been watching my videos, you know that I've had a journey with goals. Earlier in the year, I was keeping the Hemlock and Oak bound book, and I was using all that for my goals. I have goals in my work planner. I had goals in my mental health planner, and I wasn't keeping track of them the way I really felt like I needed to, and I didn't have a catch-all at the time. So what I've decided to do with this catch-all, we're going to see how it works for quarter 3, is in my goals section, I printed out the free inserts from Hemlock and Oak, the pages that I thought would benefit me. And these are free from their website. I will try to link that down below. You do have to size them yourself if you're using a classic planner, but they're really easy to do that. I love everything about their self-reflections, their value identifications. That's what really makes Hemlock and Oak stand out to me. And so those are the pages that I printed, right? Self-reflection, identifying values, just as kind of like, preparation to doing your goals. So I'm including that in my catch-all section, and that's just, like I say, that's where you sit down and kind of think about yourself, your life, your wants, your needs, who you are as a person. I'm including that. Then I created these goals inserts. These are new inserts, so they're not listed anywhere. But I created these inserts. I thought about how I like to plan my goals, what categories are important to me. And I like to build from an annual goal to a quarterly goal to a monthly goal to action steps. That's the process I follow. Now I have a whole goals planner, which follows that same process that is listed, but it doesn't have this same styling, and this one is slightly different. I will link that if you're interested. But I adjusted this to match the style of the Happy Planners mauve and moss goal inserts. So it's not exactly the same, but just so that they could flow together a little bit more, I created these in Canva, and I'm going to use some of these inserts from Happy Planner. And I just wanted the look and feel to kind of be similar. So I just took some of the pages from my other inserts that I sold and adjusted them. But I have an annual goals page. I have a quarterly goals page, and I just like the way it is listed. From annual, I have my milestones here, so I can put yearly milestones for my goals, and then I have quarterly goals, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and I'm just doing a simple list of my goals. So it's a lot more simplified than the goals inserts that I already have listed. I'll figure out how to get these listed. I will probably open up channel memberships within a few weeks on my channel, and I might make these freebies to those members. I might put some of these as freebies down below. I'm not sure because these are kind of a new insert, so I don't know yet what I'm going to do with them. But then I have a space for my long-term goals. So 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, 20 year. I'll be honest with you, I don't really do 20-year goals in this planner. I'll be truthful. 1, 2, 3, I do. And it's just nice to kind of see where you're going for 5, 10, or 20. But I really focus more on 1, 2, and 3. But I do like having this section for long-term goals. And then I have a goals self-reflection sheet. So these pages will stay the same month to month to month. I will not change these monthly. I will not change these quarterly. This is a part of me setting up my planner. I typically do this at the beginning of the year. I'm doing a mid-year re-evaluation, and so this will be the same the rest of the year. Then I have some vision board pages. Same, these are going to stay the same. And then I have from Hemlock and Oak pages where I can list a specific goal and explore that goal a little bit more. I'm only going to need like probably 3 of these pages. I printed some extras. And again, this is from Hemlock and Oak. It is totally free. And I will be sure to put that link down below. Let me just say, if you're going to print this for a classic, I think I just had to print this at 100% and I was able to cut it down to classic size really easily. If you download it from Hemlock and Oak and then you try to print it, I believe your printer is probably going to try to enlarge it. So if you change it to actual size or 100%, you should be able to cut this at classic size. If you want to put it as a big size planner, 8.5 by 11, then keep the enlargement. But print one page, try to cut it and punch it and make sure that it's the right size for you before you print everything. But anyway, setting goals. So the way this is going to work together is, because goals are really important to me. And I just really want to take a moment and talk to you about how I intend to use these goals. So in my goals section, I am going to sit down, prepare for the rest of the year. I'll probably do this in 1 or 2 sittings. I'll do my personal self-reflection, where I go through my values and what's important to me. I'll list my goals for the rest of the year, break that down into quarter. I'll probably only do quarter 3 and 4 because I'm doing this halfway through the year. And then I'll start thinking about my long-term goals, right? Which I've already done that, but I'm going to transfer it over here. And then I won't do my self-reflection because you kind of do that as you go. I'll probably build a little bit of a vision board, use some stickers, some images from magazines, and then any specific goal that I want to dig into a little bit more. See if you can see what some of these questions say. It's like, what's your goal? Why is it important to you and your values? What habits will you need? So this is like really thinking about that specific goal that you want to work on. I have 3 or 4 of those so that I can dig deeper into some very targeted goals. That's how that section works. Those pages will stay the same throughout the rest of the year. Now, I am also using in the goals section inserts from Happy Planner. And these are from a Happy Planner goals journal, which is basically a 4-month journal where you have a monthly overview and you can just list your goals and action steps that you're going to work on for that month, a monthly tracker, and then some information about what you're going to do during the week. And then you have a few journaling pages. I am not going to use all of these in my catch-all because I don't want to journal every day. I would never keep up with it. I am going to use the monthly, the weekly, right, for that month. And then I'm just going to take a couple of these for journaling pages, right? And then I am going to do my monthly goal check-in, which is basically, that's basically the end of the first week, okay? And it goes into the next week. So I'm just going to use 1 page for the next week because, again, I am not trying to use a daily every day, right? And then we have another monthly goal check-in, another weekly goal. I'll use 1 page. The others I will not use. We have a monthly goal check-in, this week's goal, and then I'll use 1 page. The other pages I will not use. Just making sure because I want to grab enough for the whole month. Okay, and then we have the weekly check-in and you have a little note sheet. That ends the month. right? So I'm going to put 1 month at a time because there are a lot of goal pages. So this will become a section that I update every month. And you see I have enough pages left for a whole other month. I think, like I said, there are 4 months in this, in that journal. So we'll see how it works during the quarter. If it works well during the quarter, more than likely, I will probably create something similar, because I'm not going to keep buying a Happy Planner journal like 3 times a year. That's not going to work. So if it works well for this quarter, because I have 4 months in that Happy Planner journal, then I'll probably adjust my own goals inserts. Okay, so that looks really good. So that goal section is really thick, guys. The next section that I have is my soul section. So we're going to put the divider in here. For me, the soul section is about memory keeping and spirituality. So what I like to do is put in my inserts for doing my faith and spiritual studies. These are very, 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 very similar to Live Love Pasha's inserts. And so I am not, these are not for sale anywhere. I customized these so that they were non-denominational. And that's how I use them. So they're non-denominational, and they also are useful for any type of content that you consume, not just reading the Christian Bible. If you're listening to a song, if you're watching a video, or if you're reading a self-help book and it moves you spiritually or like something with your faith, then you can come in and journal about this. And that was important to me. So that's why I actually customized these pages. And then at the back of that, I put in my memory keeping section, which are inserts from lifeplanner Action. And I bought these. And I'll link that down below as well if you're interested in buying something from her site. But she does her memory keeping per season. I like the way it's very compressed. It's literally 1 page per season, 1 double-sided page, and then an open page so that you can memory keep anything that you want. I will say she has more pages per season. I think like the summer season, because that's what this is, June, July, August, it was probably 4 or 5 pages, but the core page is only 1 double-sided page. I didn't print out all the rest because I didn't need those. Okay, so the last section in this planner is my Planner Joy section. My Planner Joy section is fairly unique. This is a section that I customize every month. I do a nice colorful cover page for my Planner Joy, and it has a different theme. The theme for July is creativity. So all I'm doing in July is coming in and being creative in my planner. That is the Planner Joy theme. The concept, the goal of the Planner Joy section and my Planner Joy inserts is to help us keep, or I should say find, keep, and maintain the joy we have with planning. That's the whole purpose of that. And so I have some of these available on my Etsy and some are not. It just depends on whether or not I custom created inserts or not. Like for example, this obviously is not going to be on Etsy. I'll make the cover available down below probably, just as a freebie. But what would I put on Etsy? Because in this creative section, all I'm going to do is use this section to just be fun, have fun and creative in various planner layouts, right? So I'm just going to play with my markers and my stickers. I have a vertical layout, a horizontal layout, and a dashboard layout that I'm putting in here. Just an old layout. And it's just going to be creative space, right? It's like relaxing and a part of your wellness. It's like adult coloring, so to speak. Play with your stickers, play with your washi, play with your markers and your pens. Use your supplies. Have fun with your planner. That's what that planner joy section is about. Okay, so this is my planner. It is all set up for Q3, and you see it is thick. She's thick, y'all. I might even have to go ahead and update these discs to the 1.6. We'll see. If I do, obviously I'll do that probably sometime in July. You won't even notice the difference. But she is definitely a thick girl. Let's do a quick flip through before wrapping up this video. So we start with the front of the planner, which is just the calendar as it came with the planner when I bought it. And then I get into my first section, which is my projects and plans, the dashboard, which I have already made these dashboards available. They're down on my link tree down below. My pre-planning section, I have blank one-page calendars for the month, and then spaces for me to pre-plan for each of my planners. That's what that's for. And then at the back of that section, I keep my project pages. These are dailies that I decorate, and I use them for weekly tasks or special projects that I do. Yep, that's what that is. Then we get into our monthlies. I have my word of the year. I keep that at the beginning of each month, at the beginning of the current month. So the monthlies are directly from the parenting layout. No changes here. I have 3 months worth. August, July, August, and September. That's the core of the planner. That's what I decorate every week. The next section is my wellness section. In my wellness section, I have a monthly calendar. This is actually where I journal. I don't decorate this. I come in and do a daily journal. And then I go into my wellness inserts. This is where I keep track of my physical wellness. At one point I combined this with like spiritual and emotional, but I don't do that as much anymore. I focus more on my physical, my health and my physical well-being. So taking my vitamins, taking my medications, doing my morning and evening, personal care routines, fitness routines. That's my focus in my wellness, because that's what I need to focus on. These are custom designed inserts from me. And then Leisure and Explore. This is where I put my fun pages, my specialty pages, like my bucket lists, my wish list, my travel plans, things like that. I usually adjust these for every quarter and or season. Depends on what makes the most sense. And then I keep some blank pages at the back. In my goals and tracker section, this section went through the most overhaul for Q3 because I took some planners out of my lineup. I spoke about that in another video, but I removed my Hemlock and Oak, which is what I was using for my goals, and I'm really trying to focus on my goals. So this is a very thick section. I don't know if it's going to stay this thick. We will see. But for now, I have my goals. I would say goal planning, which will stay in this planner for the entire year. That's where you're doing your reflection, your vision boarding, things like that, and actually setting your goals. And then behind those pages is where I do my goal tracking for the month. And I'm using Happy Planner inserts for now. More than likely, I will probably create my own monthly goal tracking sheets, because I don't think I need this many pages for each month. This is a lot of pages for the month. I just don't see myself needing that. But I bought this on a deep clearance and I wanted to use it, and I want to see if I like the structure, the layout of it, the flow of the content. If I do, I'll probably recreate something. But these are Happy Planner inserts from their goal journal. I like that it was simple and straightforward. You have a month, basically a month's overview, and then a monthly habit tracker, and then you have a weekly overview, and then you have some reflection sheets. So I honestly think I probably like the monthly and the weekly overview a little bit better. I don't think I need all these reflection sheets, but we'll see how that goes. And then at the end of each week, you have a monthly goal check-in before getting back into your weekly goals. And so you have enough for an entire month. So you're going to have like 4 or 5 of those sections in each month. Okay, so that's the goals section. And then we get into our soul section, which for me is all about faith and spirituality. But I like it to be non-denominational. So this is where I pretty much took Live, Love, Pasha's inserts, customized it so that it was non-denominational and that it was more appropriate for reading books other than the Bible. I do read the Bible, as you see. I like this Books of the Bible coloring sheet, and I have the Books of the Bible reading log, but I also like just consuming other content that's not all just from the Christian Bible. So I have that content log in here as well. The spiritual study is not necessarily specific to the Bible. It can be about any content, and I have adjusted also how you reflect on those studies. So there are some differences here, differences to meet my needs, and I really love this updated version. Okay, and so in the back of the spiritual section, the back of the soul section, I do my memory keeping. I'm not a huge memory keeper, so I don't need a ton in that section. And then my final section is my planner joy section. This section I change out every month. I have a different theme. For the theme of July, it's just be creative. And all I'm going to do is come in and just kind of play with different layouts. Use my markers, my washi tapes, my stickers, try different techniques. I'm just going to have fun with these old layouts that I have. I think this is a great way to use up some of your old materials, your old supplies. You know, have a creative book or a section in your catch-all where you're just playing. You're just testing new pens, testing new highlighters, whatever. But it's just a great way to use your resources. So that is my catch-all. I am very excited for quarter 3 in this planner. You will definitely probably see me get some bigger rings because these are already at max capacity and I haven't decorated one thing in here. So you will probably see me make that change. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I just can't wait for the rest of the year.